Good morning. Right, I'm going to empty my Ort pot, and I thought I would show you, or one way that I use them. Yeah. So it's a layer cake, essentially. So yeah, my Ort pot is getting to bursting. So well, it's irritating because every time I lift the lid off, it keeps coming out. So time to empty it. I've also got some baby wipes here. I'm doing a sorry, excuse me. I'm doing a journal at the moment, and these are ink stained baby wipes basically, which as you can see tear up really easily. So this is the layers that you need. So you need heat and bond light. I usually use Bondaweb because it's thinner and easier to stitch on, but I haven't got any, so yeah. Right, so I've got a layer of felt, white felt. You can have anything underneath, it doesn't have to be felt. I'm gonna make flower brooches when this is done, so yeah, a layer of something. I've got my wall mat underneath, I can just see it there, yeah. And then I was gifted this lovely sort of vintagey netting stuff, as you can see, very translucent, with little roses on it, which are lovely, which is really nice. That's Louine gave me those, so thank you very much, Louine. So we don't need that for now, so I'll put that to one side. So I'm just going to iron the Heat and Bond light. Don't use the red one. Ask me how I know, it's a nightmare. So I'm just going to iron this on, because effectively we're going to make a sandwich. So I need, this is double-sided Heat and Bond. I don't know if you've ever used this stuff before, but yeah, it you put this bit down. I should have done this before I put the camera on, but you might as well watch it live. This is going to be a bit big for my Ort leftovers, this piece of stuff, but that's fine because, as I say, I've got stained up baby wipes to use, so I shall use those. Just need to get this stuck on. It's fairly quick to heat up, this stuff, actually. And if it doesn't stick 100%, it doesn't matter, because we're going to go back over it again with an iron, so just need it to bond enough that I can peel the paper off. I'm going to turn the steam off. We don't need steam. Sound like hissing Sid in the background there otherwise. Right, are you cool enough to peel? Yep. So I say, if it doesn't bond completely, don't worry too much, but that's irritating me because it won't peel off. So we'll start this side. If you use this stuff, try and keep these backing papers, because boy are they handy, because obviously it's a non-stick sheet. So as you can probably see, yep, you've got like a plasticky film there now, which is the double-sided bit. Let me try and keep you in frame. So we've now got technically a nice sticky surface, although it's not sticky at the moment, it will be. So let me sit down because right, so let's get this Ort emptied. Now it's up to you how you do this. You can just sort of plonk it and that's it. You can and I'll show you something that I made a while ago. You can kind of make a scenery. Yes, you can, believe it or not, but I will show you that in a second because I forgot to get that out. And you obviously don't have to cover the whole thing because we're going to be laying this netting stuff. It can be organza, it can be, you just want something that you can see through. I mean, the whole idea is that you know, you get to see all the layers, basically, all the pretties underneath, which is all these threads and bits off of fabrics and the stringy bits that you pull off, bits of old sewing machine thread as well. So I'm just going to take a bit of time and spread these out, I'm afraid, so just fast forward it if you're bored. As I say, I'm going to cut flower brooches, so but yeah, if you do, you know, this is a mixture of sewing machine thread, embroidery thread. You can put wool, you know, knitting wool. If you've got some odd bits of knitting wool, just put those in. Ribbon. I've actually got a piece of ribbony stuff here. It's a big roll, so I might shred some of that and put it in there actually. So yeah, you can always add, and obviously you can take away. You know. Yep. Sorry, I'm just gonna, yeah, speed me up if you don't want to watch this bit, but. These are bits off of sari silk, so they're going to look lovely. So we just sort of spread those around as well. As you can see, it soon fills it up. I've got a little bit of ribbon there, so we'll put that in the middle somewhere. Doesn't really matter where. You can even put paper in. I've got a bit of paper flower there. Yeah, you can put anything in it. You're just trapping it basically, and I mean, obviously if you're going to make something like a bag or something, you wouldn't probably want to use paper, because the chances are if you sell it, somebody might want to try and wash it at some point. So I wouldn't recommend paper on something like a bag, like I said, just in case the end user does stick it in the washing machine and then they have nothing. All falls apart. Well, I don't know, would it? Yeah, the paper would. It would go to mush. You know, this part, the top piece and the bottom piece would obviously stay together, but the paper in between would just become a big thing of mush. Right. Okay. So got all sorts going on there. That's all good. Just spread it out, make it look pretty. I might go downstairs and get some more of that, it's a knitting thread. I'll go and get it, because that might look really funky for flowers. So yeah, you can, I say you can coil it up and make designs. I need a pair of scissors. Where have you gone? There you are. Yeah, so if you've got things like this, you can, you know, make a swirly whirly design if you want to. It's just a way of reusing stuff that normally you throw away. I don't know why they're called orts, O-R-T-S, but they are. Right, let me go and get some more. I think that will look great in here, just to really add some pops of colour. So I will be back in a jiffy. Right, I've got the wool. Yeah, this is a picture that I made, can't remember when, but underneath here is all the orts, and I obviously trapped it with a bit of muslin, which is this sort of stuff. Sorry, I was just running upstairs. Yeah, and then I heavily machine stitched over it to make, you know, clouds and stuff. So I think I've got a video on that actually in the archives there somewhere. Right, so these wools, I find them, well, I say wool, they're not wool, they're knitting threads, I guess you could call them. I find them in charity shops because nobody really knows what to do with them, I think. I've also bought up this sparkly one and this super hairy one. And I think I only paid about 50p a ball for these. Here we are. Yeah, 50p. Alright, so just look in your charity shops. I always go to the back. There's a couple in my town that, you know, this is all sort of kept in the back. in the, a little back area, and I go straight for it because it's where they put all the offcuts of lace and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, you can add to this obviously, and likewise you can take away. But what you're looking for is to make a new fabric, essentially. Yeah, I seem to remember buying these 50p a ball. They weren't expensive. I mean, they were all the rage not long ago, weren't they, with making scarves and things. Right, let's put some of this hairy one in. I've not used this one yet, as you can probably tell. Might be a bit much actually. I might just put the other one on. But this kind of thing is great fun to just snip in. So let's have a look. It's got the right colours. Sorry if I'm making the camera go weird. Actually, I'm just gonna I say put me on fast forward. I want to do this real time and then you can see what I'm up to. You still want to see your orts? Isn't that fun? It's going to look great. I hope anyway. Yeah, it was a question in Annie Claxton's Discord group. What do you do with your orts? And I said, you know, I make flowers, and I said I'd do a video because I mean, you know, I do have the Sizzix die cut that does the cutting for me, but you can easily draw them. We'll get to that stage later. I might just put a little bit of this in just for a little bit of sparkle because it's very sparkly. Oh, that's handy. Obviously have a chunk there. I'm not going right to the bottom because I want to use baby wipes on the bottom because I thought I would make some tabs for this journal that I'm making using stained baby wipes basically. There we are. Nice. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll do the whole thing. Let me, oh, I've got some sewing machine thread here. Oh, this was I had very little left on this bobbin of sewing machine thread, so I thought, you know what, I'll just take that off there and we'll use that in this. Cool. I like it. It should be really pretty. I'm hoping it's going to show through with this netting because it is dyed sort of a chocolatey, well, a brown, but it'll mute it slightly, which is fine. And once you've done this, you can then go crazy with a free motion embroidery on top of it if you want to. Right, we're all on. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can, yeah, that. You can free motion embroider it. You can just stitch it normally. Just use your decorative stitches on your machine. You can hand stitch it if you want to. I'd say this heat and bond stuff can run a little bit stiff sometimes. I did make the mistake once of using the red heat and bond. That stuff, even my sewing machine won't go through it. So if you ever want something like this, but you don't have to stitch through, the red is your way to go. But it is very, very tough. So yeah, as I said, my sewing machine was like, no. Even with the jeans needle, it didn't like it at all. It went a little bit angry. I'm just going to sort of spread this out. Get off my fingers. Did I press record again? Oh yeah. Just had this moment. Right. Stay. I've got a bit of an odd shape at the bottom here, so I'm just going to follow the bottom of the heat and bond. It doesn't matter if you don't get it all covered, because obviously it's going to stick to the netting. So, I did have some more of those. Where did they go? Bear with me. Ooh, I don't know. I might put a bit of that in. Sorry, I'll do this off screen. Come in, hang on. Got the worst scissors in the world trying to cut fabric. So with this, I think I'm just going to lay it over there. Skinny that end. These are the colours in the journal that I'm making, basically, that's why. And this was basically a mop-up cloth. So, just covering the majority of the heat and bond stuff. Too much, need it to stick as well. I probably will just crazy machine stitch all over this as well, just in case there's bits that don't stick to the heat and bond. Right, quickly. Right, this is going to be noisy, so turn your sound down. So now we're just going to heat it. And let it sit for quite a good while. I haven't tried the netting, if it will melt. Hopefully it won't. Sorry about the crinkles. I'll try and make them as little as possible. Yeah, as I say, organza looks lovely on top of this. You can get another fusible webbing called Misty Fuse, which is really nice actually. It's kind of like Bonder Web, but really fine, super fine. You can't really see it when you fuse it. So that's nice stuff, but it's really expensive for what it is, you know. I've always got away with just a bit of Bonder Web. But as I say, it does, when that stuff seals, you can hardly see it. You could, if you wanted to, put another layer of Bonder Web on top of the orts and everything, if you really wanted 100% to seal to everything, you know, if you didn't want to stitch on top, you could do that. Definitely use your greaseproof paper if you're going to do that, because it will stick like crazy to your iron. Just trying to find the boxes that I did. There they are. Yeah, so I don't know if you can't even see the Misty Fuse under there. It is under there, but you just can't see it. So yeah, and there are appliqued flowers and things, and free motion embroidery and what have you. So it is nice stuff. but like I say, it ain't cheap. So this is another one that I did, and again the misty fuse is under there, but you cannot see it. So I don't know why I don't just get a bit of greaseproof paper that fits the size of my iron, because it does this anyway. Tie it up a bit. Oh, there's a lot of fabric there, I'm asking it to stick, so. If you've got a wall mat, use it. So I'll do this in real time because you can see how much, I mean, if you've got a heat press, just use that. That's probably a lot quicker than an iron. Trying to get those gaps. I'll pause it and come back to you when it's all fused. Right, I was only gone for about another 5 minutes, but I didn't want to make the video too boring. Yeah, essentially that's it. It's all stuck on. You can just see it's not falling off or anything. But because I'm going to cut into this, there are pieces here that aren't stuck together. So I'm going to do some crazy machine stitching all over that. Really quick on the machine. Again, you can hand stitch it. You can do... yeah, you can do whatever you want with it. So what I'll do is I'll go away, do that, and then come back and show you the flowers when I've cut them out, so that you can see what's what, really. So, all right, I'll see you in a bit. Right, yeah, I finished stitching. I did go rather mad, as you can probably tell from the back there. So yeah, I just did loads of stitching, just let my machine do its fancy stitches and just let it go for it, really. So that's the piece that I've got left at the moment, because I've cut 3 flowers. Let me move that. Yeah, so here's the flowers. It's the Tim Holtz Tattered Florals, the Alterations one, and I just cut the big one here. Yeah, so that's that. And then what I tend to do is go in with my felt pieces. I don't think I'll use those colours, but I'll just put those in for now, just to sort of show you what I mean. And then I sort of stitch in. I'm going to go around the edges, I think. Yeah, I think I might need to go around the edges with blanket stitch just to finish them off, or maybe just a whip stitch round, I don't know. I'll play around with that. And then I put a couple of layers of felt in the middle, usually a button in the middle, and then I stitch on a brooch back on the back there. So yeah, that's what I do with some of that. And then I cut the other piece off the bottom, as I say, this is for a journal. And I usually just cut, you know, nice, once they're stuck together they look a lot better, but I probably again blanket stitch around those, just leave the ends open so that I can get them on the paper. And yeah, that'll be that, really. So yeah, it's amazing what you can do with just scraps, really, and just you know, some fusible. I mean, you haven't really got to do the fusible bit if you don't want to. You could just lay the threads on, put your fabric on top, and then stitch it. But the trouble is it wants to move around a lot. That's why I use, I guess you could use a spray adhesive if you don't want to use the iron-on stuff. Completely up to you. But the idea was, I've now got a nice empty Ort pot. So I need to do some stitching and get it filled up again. So any questions, just let me know. But yeah, that's one thing you can do with your Orts. See you later. Bye.